Hi, thanks for tuning in. This is the ASX and Sectors weekly chart analysis for the week ending 13th of September 2024. First chart is the parent index. This is the XJO, the S&P ASX 200 index. And the market has attempted to reverse this week. This is not a complete reversal. To complete the reversal, the market really needs to close above this down bar's high. But it's made a pretty good attempt to do it. There's no doubt some buying support in that bar. Volume was just a little above the average. So it's a pretty good attempt to reverse. In response, you'll either see a little test for supply like this or a continuing attempt to move higher. This is the mid-cap sector, and very similar to the parent index. There's been an attempt to reverse. There is good buying support in there. This is where the market needs to close above to complete the reversal. And similar to the parent index, the expected response is either for a test for supply or a continuing push higher. This is the small ordinary sector, and the theme continues. You've really got the line through there. Here's the highs of the previous bar. You can see that the market's made a pretty good attempt to reverse here. It's not yet complete. The market did trade well below the previous bar's low and recovered, so it's rejected going lower, which is a good sign of strength. The market's pushed right up to the highs, and same as the previous two charts, the expected response is for a test for supply or for a continuing push higher. This is the financial sector. The financial sector have been pretty strong of late. This was a period of absorption here. Price pushed higher again. Another period of absorption here. Price pushed higher again. This week, the market made a minor attempt to push higher, then pulled back along with the broader market. But you can see that spread remains relatively narrow and up in the top half of the previous bar's range, which is relatively strong. Volume was high, so what supply did get drawn out was being absorbed pretty comfortably by the overall market. So this remains pretty strong as well. This is the metals and mining subsector, which appeared to have broken down last week. Put some lines in here. You can see the market was reluctant to move lower here and then again here. Here is the probable lows. The market looked like it had broken down last week. This week, the market did trade below the previous bar's low, reversed. It hasn't completed a reversal. To complete the reversal, it would need to move past this level. But there's been a pretty good attempt to reverse on strong volume, and there's no doubt buying support's emerged in the market here. Whether it will be enough to continue pushing higher, it's probably more likely the market will go sideways, sort of in this range here, for a period and build up some strength and recover. But it's been a good result so far. The market has turned around. There's no clear reversal yet, but there's an attempt to reverse and buying support is present. This is the gold sector, and this market's been trading pretty strongly of late. The market produced an almost textbook perfect reversal here. It's moved below the previous bar's low and rejected moving lower. There's been a strong response in a supply vacuum by the looks, and then prices pushed up. It's closed above the previous bar's high and right up at the highs of the range. This is a good, strong reversal. And I would expect if trading conditions are favourable, the market will move higher. And if the market needs a little bit of time to digest what's happened this week, there'll be a test for supply like this. Possibly the most likely outcome is a continuing push higher. This is the energy sector, which also looked like it had broken down last week here. You can see that prior to that, the market had traded very logically, breaking down, failing to recover, breaking down, failing to recover, breaking down again. And this week, buying support has emerged. The market's closed higher, a pretty strong volume, but there was no attempt to reverse. This was the market absorbing the supply right at the lows of the range down here. And that's what generally happens when a market attempts to accumulate. It won't try to push higher. It'll absorb the supply that's being drawn out at the lows and trade sideways, build up some strength before there's any attempt to push higher. And that's what's happened so far this week. Now, if it all goes pear-shaped, this buying will be dumped and the market will just push lower. But at the moment, there's been an attempt to either accumulate or to absorb the supply that's being drawn out. It may be just speculative. Have to wait and see what happens over the next few weeks. But buying support has emerged in the market, and it wasn't trying to carry price higher. It was absorbing the supply at the low levels. This is the ASX healthcare sector. This has been a fairly strong sector previously. That was the lows of the range. There was a 2-bar reversal or shakeout here. The market then moved up and broke out. A couple of weeks of consolidation and testing of supply. Then the market's moved up to this level here. And we've been moving sideways for possibly a little too long. But there's no great supply being drawn out, although volumes have increased over the last few weeks. Price is just trading sideways, absorbing that supply, possibly waiting for favourable trading conditions. At the moment, it doesn't look dangerous, but we'll just monitor this market. It has looked fairly strong. You don't like markets to move sideways in consolidation mode for too long. If the market's really strong, it'll absorb the supply that's drawn out at a price level relatively quickly, and it'll move higher in response. So this market, this needs to be monitored in case there is supply being drawn out. It looks okay so far. The market's moved lower this week on high volume, then recovered. It looks like it's still absorbing supply, but just pay to keep an eye on it. This is the industrial sector, which have really broken out pretty strongly more recently. There was a reluctance to move lower here, which we noted at the time, and then price moved up here. Took a little bit of time to absorb the supply and then broke out clearly. And the market's sitting right up here, high in the range. It moved below the previous bar's low last week, recovered nicely to close right at that level. So this market continues to look quite strong, similar to those larger sectors. If the market needs a little bit of time to digest what's going on, there'll be a test for supply, or at least an attempt to. And if trading conditions are favourable, there'll be an attempt to push higher in response. Back to the parent index just quickly here before I wrap up. There was the old highs of the range. That was when the market was attempting to break out. A bit of supply was drawn out. This was tested, and the market then recovered. Here's the highs of the range here now. The market traded just fractionally below the previous bar's low. We did note buying support came in here. Price did move lower initially and then recovered the lost ground. So that's quite a strong move. That means the market has rejected moving lower and has moved higher in response. And price is right up here. It hasn't completed a reversal, but it looks pretty strong at the moment. If trading conditions are favourable next week, I expect an attempt to push higher. And if the market needs some time, I expect a test for supply of some description. Okay, thanks for your time. See you next week. See ya.